Good evening. Welcome to the Falls Township Board of Supervisors meeting, November 18th, 2014. We'll begin with the salute to the flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Pullen?
Mr. Galloway?
Here.
Mr. Bradsky? Here. Mr. Harvey?
Here.
Mr. Dents?
Here.
Mr. Rocco?
Here.
Okay, before we begin, last week, as people know from seeing the newspaper, Dorothy Kozlowski, a longtime elected official here in Falls Township, passed away. Whether you agreed or disagreed with her, she did dedicate a large part of her life to Falls Township, and obviously leaves behind family here in Falls as well as friends. So we'll have a brief moment of silence in her memory. Thank you. Okay, first item on our agenda is a public comment, 5-minute limit per person, and 45-minute maximum. Mr. Kenny.
Mr. Harvey, briefly before
I
Mr. Kenny
apologize. Go ahead.
approaches the podium, the board held an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss personnel, potential litigation, and to hear a proposal information for improving the landscaping portion of the road program.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Thank you. Roland Kenny, Falls Township. Penn Manor's losing another young lady that when I go over there to volunteer, she usually gives me my jobs. It's going down to take care of Andrew Jackson's estate. We're going to miss her. And next month, the 4th and 5th, is probably the prettiest days of the year that we have at Penn Manor. We light everything up by candle. There's no electricity working in that place on them 2 days. So if you get a chance to come out, you really enjoy it. I'm not going to say nothing about EIT because it seems to me that my township, we have to beat them over the head with something to make them see clearly. Yes, Dorothy passed away. Dorothy, she spent most of her whole life doing stuff for the people of Falls. I mean, you know, she didn't really care for me that much, but I often respected her and what she did. And if there's a way that our township could see their way clear, either a statue or a plaque in front of Lake Caroline saying what she did. Because I wasn't around here. Probably none of you was around here when she did that. They were supposed to put buildings around the lake, and she stopped it, sued them or something, stopped them. So she did a lot for the people. And I think it would be nice if we did that for her. And that flag, I can still remember Mr. Fitzpatrick bringing it back from across the seas and gave it to her. And there's another thing. I don't think we want to bury her with it, but maybe that can a title up there, who it was given to. But other than that, God bless you. Enjoy the night. A short budget.
Thank you. Mr. Mariani.
With the proposed budget presentation tonight, I thought it's appropriate to consider a final study for an EIT, and then I guess we're going to give this thing a rest for a while. This board has been and continues to be adamant about avoiding an EIT. No doubt in my mind about that. During the past meeting, this board took no action on an EIT, even though the results from eConsult Solutions, that study indicated the number of Falls residents paying an EIT increased significantly from your past study from 20% to 48%. Now, I want to see phase two because I don't understand how you could make a decision without knowing the range of revenue estimates. I don't know how you can do that. I can give you some estimates that I think was just done by the science and mathematics, and that is at 30%, you're close to $2 million, which I think is what the study says you're doing now. At 40%, 2.6 million, 50%, 3.3, 60, 4 million, 70, 4.6, 80%, you're over $5 million a year. That's what's leaving here. Now, members of this board don't support an EIT because you folks say it would increase taxes on some Falls residents. Now, we all understand an EIT doesn't tax interest, dividends, Social Security, capital gains, lottery winnings, unemployment, insurance proceeds, bequests, inheritances, active military, and so on and so forth. What I don't understand, if you're so concerned about an increase in taxes on a few Falls residents, why would you support a candidate for governor who said he will increase the Pennsylvania income tax, which taxes almost all income, and for all Falls wage earners, not for just some? Now, a township who heavily relies on a limited source of revenue, as we do here, to increase our services, you have to look for other, you're going to have to look for other sources. Now, by recognizing fiscal trends that are taking place, we right now in Falls have the opportunity to implement the kind of action to avoid, not now, but in the future, some of the dire financial predicaments that currently other township municipalities find themselves. Revenue cannot remain stagnant here or anyplace else. We haven't increased savings in 4 years. How can we pay for our new $17 million township complex without significantly reducing our reserves or paying unnecessary fees? When are we going to expand our tax base? That's a dangerous position, whether you accept it or not, to be in. You don't want to have to do something like that when you have no choice. So I'm here tonight to say to you, please stop subsidizing other municipalities, because I believe that's what we're doing, by $2, $3, $4 million as this progressively goes on. That's our money. I believe it belongs in Falls Township. That's where I want to see it. One of the greatest responsibility you 5 members of this board have is approving this budget, regularly monitoring our Falls budget that provides us the income to implement our policies and actually the visions that we have for the future. So I can ask Ms. Rukoff and Mr. Gray, can you use a few extra $1 million? And they're not going to answer. You don't have to look. You look at me when you answer that question, not him. Okay, so think about what I said.
It works for him.
Review the facts and then study your, then satisfy your responsibilities. Personally, I can't rationalize any reason why you do not enact an EIT. Finally, just quickly, I did a quick study on Langhorne and the effect of an EIT has on the municipality's potential income versus the effects surrounding municipalities have, who already have an EIT, the impact they have on that potential income. You'll have our finance people take a look at that. It's interesting, and quite frankly, the results jump up at you. Think about an EIT. I'm glad you didn't take any action, at least the wrong action. Think about it. Thank you.
Edgar Latuma. Bless you.
Good evening.
Eating.
Edgar Lituma, Falls Township. Last time I was here, and I asked if you doing anything to get that money, the $975,000. And like I told you, and I know you know, guys, we cannot spend that money fixing the fields And I think we have like 11 different kind of fields and falls, and we can use for all the field. I don't say yes, use for soccer. They have a lot of baseball fields all over. They need to be fixed. And another thing I want to ask, I think so, Mr. Sullivan, last October, he say clearly they were going to come and fix around the soccer field. Like I keep asking how many times. And he told, yes, they fixing some fields, and the last they're going to come and do our fields. They never did. They look terrible. If you go over there, look terrible. Around the big soccer field they did, and we spend a lot of money to pay these guys. If they didn't do a good job, they have to come back and do it again. And I keep asking this because I talked to the parents over there, they never touched, they never did anything. And that was last October when they say that. Okay, now the soccer season is over, last week. They can come back and do it. It's not, I don't ask him for me or for soccer club. I ask for the 400, 500, 600 kids they play there. You know, since 4 years old until 18 years old. Now, if some people don't have kids playing soccer over there, okay, maybe they don't want or they don't understand how they have to be done. And so I ask him that to see what is going on with that, and that's it. And please, if you can get the money used for the, you know, so many fields we have, some that board represent baseball fields, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, we are. One of the things in the budget this evening that is proposed, and the board has talked about, is using the money, or open space money, for each of the 4 sports organizations, the 3 little leagues and the fall soccer club, to do different work on the field, to do different work on the different complexes. That is something we're looking on how to do, and we're going to talk about with all the leagues. So far, we haven't approved the budget yet, of course.
Yeah.
If it's approved in its current state, then that's one of the things we are going to use the money for. So.
And come back to fix that fields. I keep asking.
Well, that's
that
one of the
so
things. I
many
know we
times.
did plant. I know we planted grass in some of the areas around those fields. I think it was in the spring, but it's an area that in between the fields there is where all the parents stand or the kids stand.
Outside the field. That the guys did that. I remember that, but they didn't do a good job, and everything was bad.
Yeah,
It's all crabgrass. It's
it does
bad.
look kind of ratty. I
And the
agree.
parents say they supposed to come back and fix. They were supposed to come back to fix that, but they never
did
did.
come back in October last year.
Yeah, I know they did plant some grass. We can
I
certainly.
checked up on them. I'm sure they did. I was there and
Yeah,
watched them.
it's just maybe it was the winter.
So
I don't
again,
know.
they're done.
but
They can come back again.
we'll take a look. So, are they still under maintenance bond?
I believe they are. It's very close.
Okay. All right, but we'll
And
check.
the only really problem they had was outside the field itself.
Right.
Yeah,
It's the
Right.
around the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did reseed that, and it took as well as it could. But they did come and fix the fields, just like you asked.
Yeah, it just like grass seed, it just doesn't always take, and obviously the fields are used a lot, and unfortunately they're used during the growing season. They're used in the springtime, they're used in the fall, and that's when you grow grass. They're not used as much in July and August, as you know, and that's not a time to grow grass. So it's a question of keeping people off it, and obviously you don't want to use the fields, but it's something we will take a look at. Okay.
It's the last thing. Last Saturday I was doing there. I rep a lot of games around there. I don't think so we're gonna, like the gentleman say about the seagulls and the geese. There were thousands of
Yeah, I
them.
saw them.
I don't know what to do. We spend every morning, I think, $15,000 every season. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, this weekend was full with that. It was all over. I don't know if
Yeah,
they can do
I did
anything.
see them one
It's
time.
waste-
The
I don't
field
know,
was
they're
white with seagulls.
spending a
I
lot of
saw
money.
that over the weekend.
It doesn't work that. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Gloria Latuma?
Good evening, Gloria Latuma, Falls Township. I came because I heard talk about the EIT, and so I had a couple of questions about it, just to clarify some things.
Well, I probably can head you off, and Mr. Mariani's already addressed this. The board, hearing the information we heard last week that showed that more than half of the people in the township aren't paying it, the board has no interest in moving forward with an EIT. It's not going to happen. So I don't know if that answers anything, or if feel free to say whatever else you want to say.
Immensely. Actually, then I want to thank you for considering or reconsidering and not doing the EIT, because there are those of us that work in New Jersey and are very happily not paying an EIT.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate your keeping it that way for now, anyway.
Okay.
So all right, so I'll save those questions for another time.
Okay.
or maybe never, which would be fine too. Then the only other thing I had a question about was, I do like to watch the meetings occasionally on TV, and if you could just update the schedule, because it always seems to be wrong. Like, it says 6 o'clock, they're going to replay the meetings, and then it's on at 5 or something, so
Okay. All right, we'll
if
take
you
a look
could
at
just check into that and make sure that it's correct up there so that I don't miss these important meetings.
that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
If you have a
apologize.
computer, we have a YouTube channel now, so you can go on YouTube and watch them whenever you want.
I'm in my bed and I'm like, okay, let's put that on. It says 6 o'clock, I put it on and it's on at 5, and then I missed the part I wanted to see.
Okay,
And we're the best thing on TV. Yes,
that's right. Yeah, we are.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Sorry for any confusion with that schedule. Those are the only names on the list. Anybody else wish to speak? Okay. All right, I'll move to agenda item number 2, which is a certificate of appropriateness for 53 Old Locust. This is to remove an old roof and install new architectural shingles on the main roof. Board members have the sheet from the Historical Review Board, approved unanimously. You also have some photographs of the house itself. This property was before us before, maybe a year or 2 ago, where you can see some of the newer shingles on the lower roof. This is all slate that they're taking off. It's just, I talked to the property owner a few weeks ago. It's way too expensive. It's too complicated to fix it. And so they're looking just to do regular asphalt shingles. Any comments or questions?
None.
Okay. Is there a motion then to approve the certificate of appropriateness for 53 Old Locust?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Mr. Gray, it's really hot up here. I'm sure. Down.
What's that sweater?
Nice.
Maybe.
It's a sweater, I don't know. Okay, all right. Next item on our agenda is the proposed proposed budget presentation and authorization to advertise. For anybody that's maybe on this side of the boardroom, if you want to move before we start turning the lights off so you can see the screen, you might want to move on this side. Feel free to position yourselves where you can see the best. Mr. Gray, could we get the podium sort of so that, never mind, our helper's going to do it.
Mascot.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Kinney.
We'll move this thing if you don't mind.
I appreciate it.
What is wrong with him?
Okay. All right, turn it over to Mr. Gray and Mrs. Rukoff, our finance director is here.
Can you use your microphone?
Look at the dog.
It's a swan. Try to keep it interesting. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to present the proposed budget for 2015 for your review. The proposed tax rate for 2015 is 7.22 mils, the same rate as 2014. There's no tax increase proposed for Falls Township's residents. This rate remains the lowest tax millage rate in the past 23 years. 7 tax funds make up the total millage rate charged to township residents. The general fund, which is the chief operating fund of the township. Street lighting fund, which is used to account for the cost of electricity and maintenance of the highway and street lights located in the township. The fire protection fund, which helps support our local fire companies. The fire hydrant fund, which is restricted to expenditures for the maintenance and repair of fire hydrants located within the township. The Parks and Recreation Fund, which is restricted to the development of recreational programs and our township parks. The Fallsington Library Fund, which helps to support our local library. And the Rescue Squad Fund, which helps to support our local rescue squads. That brings our total millage rate to 7.22. For 2015, we've redistributed 1/10 of a mil from the street lighting fund to the fire hydrant fund to cover operating costs, but overall, the total millage remains the same. For every tax dollar paid in 2014, only 4 cents was received by Falls Township. The balance was collected by the County Bucks and the Pennsbury School District. Residents' tax dollars are used to provide a full range of municipal services, including police and fire protection, construction and maintenance of streets and storm sewers, recycling, residential solid waste pickup, zoning regulations, building inspections, parks and recreational activities, and the maintenance and replacement of streetlights. Contributions to our fire companies, rescue squads, and the library that serves Falls Township residents are also funded through our real estate tax dollars. What do all those services cost our taxpayers? Based on an assessment of $30,000, a Falls Township resident can expect to pay $216.60. This is by far the lowest cost of our neighboring municipalities. Please note that our neighboring municipalities' figures include assessments for trash and leaf pickups, which are free to Falls Township residents. Bristol, Northampton, Middletown, and Lower Southampton also charge an EIT, which is not reflected here. Some highlights of the 2015 proposed budget are our 2015 projected revenues, which include reliance by the general fund on host community fees of $12 million, reliance by the general fund on resource recovery fees of $950,000, and additional projected revenues including our local services tax at $400,000, cable TV franchise fees at $725,000, real estate transfer taxes at $700,000, building, electrical, and fire permits at $789,000, and our state pension system assistance at $519,000. Our 2015 pension obligation. While the state pension assistance the township received has remained relatively static, hovering around $500,000, the township's minimum municipal obligation to the pension plans has continued to rise dramatically. As shown by the red line on the chart, the township's pension obligation rose from $1.3 million in 2012 to $1.47 million in 2013 to $1.74 million in 2014. And in 2015, our pension obligation will be $2,234,730. As you can see, the assistance we receive from the state does little to offset our rising pension costs. The net cost to the township is projected to be $1.7 million for 2015. Budgeted expenditures from the general fund total $18,842,064. 55.2% of that amount, or $10.4 million, is used to provide police services to our community. Some 2015 proposed capital projects: the purchase of computer equipment, firearms training and supplies, and various other equipment for the police department. $470,580 has been budgeted for these purchases. Repairs and improvements to windows, doors, and shutters are needed at the 3 arches. These renovations, as well as exterior painting and the addition of a parking area, are projected to cost approximately $100,000. For the Falls Township Community Park, $7,225 has been budgeted for the continuation of the goose management campaign, and $10,000 for the purchase of a tow and collect machine to remove the goose droppings. Roof repairs to the pavilion in Phase 1 of the community park and the garage building, which houses the snack bar and the bathrooms, are budgeted at $12,325. Fencing at both Von Hoffman Park and the Vermilion Hills Tot Lot will cost an estimated $18,000 to replace. And $166,738 has been budgeted for the construction of a sidewalk and curbing along New Falls Road for pedestrian safety. The Public Works Department is in need of a new dump truck. $150,000 has been budgeted for this purchase. The total 2015 budget, including all revenues, expenses, and fund balances, totals just under $75 million. Based on the proposed budget, a total of $32,556,101 is projected to be spent in the year 2015. The budget schedule for 2015 includes tonight's discussion of the budget, advertisement of the budget on November 21st, Additional budget discussions from November 18th through December 15th. Public inspection of the proposed budget from November 21st to December 15th. And adoption of the 2015 budget at the December 16th Board of Supervisors meeting. That concludes our presentation of the 2015 proposed budget. If there are any questions?
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Rukoff. And start off by thanking not only you, but all the department heads, Mr. Gray and your staff in the finance department for all the work that you put into this. It's a couple months worth of, it's several months worth of work going into every budget. Comments or questions for Mrs. Rukoff or Mr. Gray regarding the budget from board members? Mr. Galloway?
Just it was a fine presentation, Mrs. Rukoff, and I look forward to, I know I've been made familiar with the budget, but going line by line, I can't believe the amount of work that goes into such a thing. And it's going to take a little time to acquaint myself with it further and look forward to the further discussions. Thank you.
Mr. Brasky?
The 3% for the fire hydrants, can you guys just explain what that was for?
Was it 0.3 mils? What do you got?
0.3?
0.34 mils.
Yeah, Mills.
The .34 mils? Sure.
Oh, 3%
No problem. Strictly maintenance and repair of fire hydrants located within the township.
And
That's all it can be spent on.
Right.
just represented separately from how we support the fire service, right?
Correct.
Is there an actual number, or?
Sure. The dollar amount associated with that is $108,233 associated with that millage rate.
Okay.
Mr. Dents?
We all spent a lot of time, I know you all spent a lot of time working on this, and it's a very nice job, but we've each sat down with Mr. Gray and gone over this, so this isn't the first time we've seen it tonight. You may have heard a lot of projects that are proposed and budgeted. That doesn't mean that we're not all going to discuss them again and vote on them at another time. So we all may not agree on some of these projects, but, you know, they're all still in the budget. Until we actually vote on them and spend the money, they might not even happen. That's all I have.
Mr. Rocco?
Excellent job.
Thank you.
One thing that kind of stood out to me is the 4% of every dollar, so 4 cents of every dollar comes to us, which is astronomically low, I guess, if
Yes.
that isn't a... And the other question I had was, the advertising of the budget, how do we advertise it?
We'll put a public notice in the newspaper.
Okay. And do we also put it up on our website? Did we do-
Website and the local libraries as well.
Oh, okay.
And there's a copy available here, too, correct?
Absolutely.
And there's one
Yeah.
here, got it.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm looking forward to,
Mr.
2015.
Dell always used to say that if you can't afford falls, you can't afford bucks.
yeah.
Just point out, and Mr. Dent said this as well, we're voting to advertise budget tonight. Occasionally, we'd have people come and say, well, you know, can't you let us see it, you know, before tonight's meeting so that we can comment on it? Well, no, because tonight's meeting is about actually advertising it. You know, we've had chances to sit down and talk with Mr. Gray, as Mr. Dent said. They've obviously put a lot of work into this. We've had a couple conversations just amongst ourselves about our thoughts and ideas. It can, this is a budget that can change between now and when it's actually approved. There could be things that are changed, you know, an item here, an item there. We can't do large-scale changes because it would have to be re-advertised. So it's not like you're going to see, you know, $5 million added into something that wasn't in there now. But, you know, could, you know, $10,000 here, $20,000 here be changed, but depending on the line item. That can happen. And, you know, it may happen over the course of the next month or so as we take a look at this. We'll open up for a little bit of public comment before we approve. Again, we're just authorizing advertisement tonight. We're not actually approving the budget. We'll do that next month. Any public, interest in public comment? Okay. All right, so is there a motion then to authorize the advertisement of the proposed 2015 budget?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Okay,
all
fine.
right, thank you again.
It's in a separate.
Okay, item 4
In that fund.
is consider resolution for Viking Associates Sewage Facilities Planning Module. I'm not sure if I should go to Mr. Gray or Mr. Sullivan for this. Does it matter?
You can start with Mr. Gray.
I'll start with Mr. Gray. All right, Mr. Gray.
Yes, this is a land development project. This is required to be in conformity with the Act 537 plan. The township needs to confirm this project has adequate sewage services available. There is a resolution for the board to consider for a sewage facilities planning module. The board is asked to consider this resolution.
Okay, and it would be 14-33
33.
if approved. Comments or questions for Mr. Sullivan regarding what exactly a sewer planning module is?
No, we just did it a few
We've done a couple of
meetings
these.
ago, right?
Yeah.
It's relatively new.
This is, actually, we did this once before with Viking.
Okay.
There were so many comments from the DEP based on their submission that we have to do it again.
Okay,
But there's really no change in the amount of units. There's 40 units there, and no other changes to the sewer system. All of the comments, to my understanding, have been resolved at this point, so.
okay. All right. Any other comments or questions?
None.
Okay, any public comment needed? All right, so this is Resolution 1433 for the sewage facilities planning module for Viking. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, engineers report, Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey. First of all, today was the last day for the docks at the Quaker Penn Park boat ramp. It doesn't mean that the boat ramp is closed, it just means there won't be any docks there starting tomorrow morning around 7 a.m. They'll be removed. Which is usually it's pretty late for this year. I think last year we did October, this year we did November, so we try to leave them in as long as we can. Based on the weather the last couple of days, it seems like it's probably a good idea to take them out. The Vermilion Hills Drainage Project is out for bid as of yesterday. There'll be a bid opening on December 10th, and we'll have a recommendation for notice of intent to award at the December 16th meeting. 2013 road program, most of the major construction is complete. The punch list has been delivered to the contractor. They are actively working on the punch list. The last couple of days have been a little tough for them to work, but they have a small crew, about 3 men, that are going to be dedicated to that for the next month or so. All weather-related items, such as the grass, will probably be extended into the springtime. But anything they can do between now and the end of the year, they will. I think that's all I have.
All right, comments or questions for Mr. Sullivan? Mr. Galway?
No questions.
Mr. Boraski?
No questions.
Mr. Dents?
Of course. You said that the major construction is done, but that doesn't mean that they're finished, because they're far from done.
That is correct.
I've been in the construction business over 20 years, and whenever I've received a punch list, usually you do the big ticket items first before you go and do the little stuff. So the only thing that I've seen them work on so far is spreading seed around and patching curbs.
Patching curbs, sidewalks, and small things so far. That's
So
correct.
what about the drainage ditch problem on, what is that, Laura, behind the house?
Fine, Floral Drive.
Laurel, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Is that on the schedule anytime soon?
That is on the punch list, and I imagine they'll jump on that as soon as,
Spring comes?
well, it's supposed to have better weather next week. I hope they start working on it toward the end of this week and
I
into
don't
next
feel
week.
that anything's been substantially completed on this. I mean, I'm not saying anything, but I think that there's a lot more work to be done on this project before you can say the major work is done. Because that's a major problem in back of that house. Mr. Rocco and I went there last week and met with the homeowner and went out back, and it's a mess. Every piece of stone that was up on Bernard is washed down the drainage pipe and is now all over in front of the catch there, or whatever you want to call it.
That is true. And it's on the punch list, and they've been instructed to take that as soon as possible.
So is there any way to get commitments on the punch
Yeah,
list?
like a schedule or something? Usually, that's what I'm saying. Usually you do the big ticket items first and then finish up. Like, there's no point in throwing seed around now because you might as well just feed it to the birds.
Right, no, I don't think they're going to seed anything anymore. There's, like you said, they're working on the small stuff first for whatever reason. We've been trying to get them a firm schedule on the punch list. Generally, they don't provide a schedule, they just work at it actively.
Okay. That's all I have.
Mr. Rocco?
I have none.
Okay. No, and I don't have any either. Is there a motion to approve the October 2014 engineering report, which is dated November 14th, 2014?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sorry.
All right, bill list for this evening. There was a question about one of the bills, which I believe we're going to pull off.
Correct.
Okay, so that is going to lower the bill list by $220,340.05. That leaves the bill list at $2,226,099.85. Of that $2.2 million, we have about $1.3 million of that is salary and benefits. And as well as the other items, the usual big ticket items we have, electricity and things of that nature. We also have the payment to the fire companies. We talked earlier about the taxes we collect and things of that nature with Fireman's Relief Tax Allocation number 2, okay, which is $111,000 here, $111,000 there. So obviously the taxpayers' money going to the fire prevention and also to the rescue squads. Comments or questions for Mr. Gray regarding the bill list? Mr. Galloway?
No questions.
Mr. Boraski?
No.
Mr. Dents?
No.
Mr. Rocco?
None.
Okay, so for November 18th, 2014, the bills in the amount of $2,226,099.85. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Mrs. Pullen?
Mr. Galloway?
Yes.
Mr. Boraski?
Yes.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Dents?
Yes.
Mr. Rocco?
Yes.
Okay, minutes from November 3rd, 2014. Comments or questions regarding the minutes from anybody?
No.
Excellent minutes, Mrs. Pullen, as always.
Okay, anybody?
None.
All right. Okay, is there a motion then to approve the minutes as presented for November 3rd, 2014?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we held an executive session earlier this evening. Mr. Gray, up to you.
Yes, just a few items tonight. First item is a request for an extension. The township received a letter from Mr. Tom Hecker dated November 13th regarding the Buckingham Retail Wawa project located at West Trenton and Pine Grove Road, requesting an extension on this project until February 21st, 2015. The board is asked to consider this extension.
Okay, comments or questions regarding the extension?
No.
This is a project that's still before our zoning board. There are quite a few variances. It's been in the paper a couple of times. So this is obviously a big project at the old Acme, but because they're sort of they're going through a lot of reviews at our level and also at PennDOT level, so they're not in any shape to sort of meet any kind of deadline for any kind of proposal. So is there a motion then to approve the extension to February 21st?
So moved. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I have another extension request from Mr. Hecker dated November 13th for WG Lincoln Properties located at 640 Lincoln Highway, requesting an extension on this project until February 21st, 2015. The board is asked to consider this extension.
Okay. Comments or questions regarding the letter?
No.
You could just keep requesting extensions, right? This is just kind of a formality, yeah, got it.
But if the board wanted to have a project come to some sort of completion, you would not have to grant the extension.
Oh, I see.
And then the applicant would either have to withdraw their application or move forward. But I don't know if I've ever seen that.
No, I was just wondering, because we've done this dozens and dozens of
Yeah.
times. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, it's a good question, and when someone does put in for a project, as soon as they submit plans for development, there's a clock that starts. And the clock is designed so that boards like, the government boards like ours can't just sit on a project and never look at it. We have to, by law, look at it within a set amount of time. But, of course, we can't look at anything if we're not given anything to look at. So the option for the developer, if they don't have anything ready for us to get, to give to us, we can't obviously approve anything, so we would just, kill the project and say we're not voting on it or vote no on it. It's in their best interest. If they're not ready, then obviously they ask for an extension and we grant them an extension. So, okay, so anyone interested in a motion to approve February 21st, 2015 for the WG Lincoln properties? Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Another letter came in from Mr. Hecker dated November 13th for Extra Space located at 915 Lincoln Highway, requesting an extension on this project until February 19th, 2015.
Okay. All right, motion to approve for Extra Space, 915 Lincoln Highway till till February 19th, 2015.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye.
Township also received a letter from Mr. Hecker regarding New Seaview Lubricycle, requesting an extension on this project until February 15th, 2015.
Mr. Hecker's been busy.
Yeah, so maybe, or he might not be. Maybe he's on vacation. That's why we keep getting these extensions. All right, so again, is there a motion to accept the letter or to grant the extension February 15th, 2015? You gotta wait till I finish.
Okay, so moved.
Seconded.
Speed it up, Harvey.
I'm trying to trip over myself. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Township received a letter from John Koopman regarding land development application for premium excavating located at 269 Canal Road, requesting an extension of time on this project until January 31st, 2015.
Okay. If there are no comments or questions, is there a motion to grant the extension to January 31st?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Township received a letter from Stephen Harris regarding Sylvie Concrete, requesting an extension on this project until January 31st, 2015.
Okay.
I actually have a question.
Go ahead.
I guess we're giving them 60 days from the date that they applied. Like, did we keep giving all these different dates? They're not 60 days from tonight?
I think it depends on when the application came in.
It doesn't have to be 60 days, it can be really any time frame. A lot of these, I think, are 60 days from the last time they were extended.
Oh, so we're giving it 60 days from the last time it was extended, not from tonight.
It's their request.
That's just my only question, because we keep having all these different dates.
Yeah.
I think they'd all be the same date. That's fine.
Excuse me.
Are you waiting for a motion?
No, I no, it's fine. Is there a motion to grant the extension to January 31st, 2015?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And my last one, the township received a letter from Nathan Fox for 38 Cabot Boulevard, requesting an extension, 60-day extension on this project, which expires December 19th, 2014.
So that would be till February 19th, or February 18th, I
Yes, 60 days from December 19th.
guess. All right. We'll do it that way,
That'd be
because we got a couple 31-day months in there.
Yeah, 17th.
It's probably 17th, right? February 17th?
17th.
Okay. All right, so motion to grant the extension to, who is this? This is the 30 Cabot Boulevard till February 17th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And finally, AutoZone Mylars are ready for signature, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Up to board comments. We'll begin with Mr. Rocco.
Okay. I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. That's week and a few away. Also, with the passing of Dorothy Veslosky, I want to send my thoughts and prayers to the Veslosky family. Pete, I want to congratulate you and your team on the budget.
Well, thank you.
Well done. And just some clarification again on the EIT. Last meeting, we heard some numbers. That was my intention, to figure out how many people that are currently earning income are paying it. It came in at 48%, which wasn't enough for me. So, I'm not having another conversation about it for quite a while. And lastly, Mr. Dents and I were at the Mercer Court grand opening next door. So the townhouses are open and for sale. They're actually quite nice. If you get an opportunity to go over there, I think it's a good idea. So, thank you.
All right, Mr. Galloway.
I just want to echo Mr. Rocco's comments and condolences to the family of Dorothy Veslosky. And everyone enjoy your holiday.
Okay. Mr. Dents.
Just to echo what everyone else said.
Okay. Mr. Boraski.
Yeah, I guess this, I'm kind of glad we talked about the EIT a little bit. You kind of squared that away, I think, and Mr. Rocco, I think we all feel the same way. The numbers just don't support us. I think it's a tax increase for the rest of that percentage of people. That's my feelings. And, I'm glad we put that out there. I have heard nothing but negativity towards it, nothing positive from anybody, so appreciate you guys squaring that up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody up here, taking a look at it, had an idea, had a number in their head, of what percentage of Falls residents would have to be paying this in order for it to make any sense for us to do it. My number was somewhere around 80% to 85%. If that were the case, then what Mr. Mariani talks about would be true. We'd be sending up millions and millions and millions of dollars out of this township to other townships, and it could be coming here, and it wouldn't be a tax increase for most, the vast majority of Falls residents. And the numbers were nowhere close. And so while it may have been an increase from 10 years ago, last time we did this, it obviously wasn't enough of an increase to really make sense for us to go forward with it. So it is a dead issue, okay? And so I've got some questions about it. People that had sort of heard part of the conversation and thought we were just going to have one and maybe hadn't gotten everything. And but just again to clarify that that's an issue that's dead here in Falls Township. And also want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And I'm hoping that people will spend the time with their families and not, necessarily standing in line at a store to try and get deals on a TV set or a toaster. Thanksgiving.
We're watching the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Well, you could be doing that too. That's right. Yeah.
I'll be doing.
Instead of family, at least you're watching it with your family.
That's right. That's right. And hopefully it turns
With my
out
family, of
hope it turns out better for the Eagles than this past Sunday did. But even for people that aren't Eagles fans, I'm not. I'm an Eagles fan, but
What's your team, Mr. Harvey?
My team is the Raiders. Okay, but
First team to be eliminated this early
that's
of the
right.
playoffs.
That's right. But
by week 11.
any team that beats the Cowboys or the Broncos, I have that special hatred too for them. But wish everybody happy Thanksgiving again. Thank you very much to the staff here at the township for all the work they put in over the past few months on the budget. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, Ted.